order. Roll call. Councilperson Baker.
Here.
Councilperson Grine.
Here.
Councilperson Mendoza. Here. All are present. I'll entertain a motion to approve the previous committee meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilperson Baker, seconded by Councilperson Grine. Roll call. Councilperson Baker.
Yes.
Councilperson Grine.
Yes.
Councilperson Mendoza. Yes. The previous Law and Ordinance Committee meeting minutes have been approved. I have no items issued under open issues. I have one item under new business, which is redistricting wards. For context, at our last committee meeting, Council President requested we review Fostoria ward boundaries to determine whether redistricting is warranted. I forwarded several informational documents via email, including case law on equal population, state and local legislative authority rules and regulations, and a guide to local redistricting, as well as a link to Dave's redistricting app. You both should have received, and were you able to review it?
Mhm.
Wonderful. So I will submit the following findings for public record. Federal equal population standards upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court generally recognize that a total population deviation exceeding a 10% benchmark warrants justification. Ohio law likewise requires substantially equal wards. ORC 731.06 expressly authorizes that the municipal legislative authority to redivide wards whenever necessary to maintain population equality. The Fostoria City Charter expressly authorizes reapportionment as well. Article 3, Section 3.02 permits council to reconstitute ward boundaries when appropriate. Fostoria's current ward boundaries were last established following the 2000 federal census adopted by Ordinance 2002-50 and codified in Chapter 105.01. The committee obtained reliable population data from the official 2020 United States Census at the census block level generated through Dave's redistricting app, and confirmed the methodology with the League of Women Voters of Ohio. The data demonstrates that Fostoria's current wards have a total population deviation that is nearly twice the generally recognized benchmark. The city's population supports an ideal ward of 3,262 residents. However, Ward 1 is the largest with 3,571, whereas Ward 3 only has 2,946. The resulting total population deviation is 19.16%. And to ensure the new ward boundaries are in effect for Fostoria's next municipal ward primary election, expected in May 2029, the redistricting ordinance must be enacted at least 150 days before that election as required by Ohio law. So we have plenty of time to figure the rest of this out, but do you both agree that that was a fair assessment of the documents we reviewed? Is there anything I omitted or any part of the research that you feel should be noted for public record that I missed? Then I suppose we're in agreement. We've verified our legal authority and the population imbalance. So I suppose we move on to the next step.
Yeah, the only thing, sorry to go back to your last
Yeah.
question. The only thing I read is that if, we're supposed to have done this, I think, by the October following the census, which was in 2020.
Right.
And if the legislative authority, which would have been a council at the time, fails to do that, it falls to the public service director to redistrict the wards.
Okay.
And so we obviously exceeded that time. I think the preference, especially we have time until the next ward election. I
Right.
think the better path would be to let it go through council with the 3 readings and all these things.
Absolutely.
So I think that's appropriate. I guess the only thing I would ask the law director
Yeah.
to get more information on is there a requirement to do it ahead of that because of the stipulation that it falls to the public service director if the legislative authority fails to act.
Okay.
I mean, if so, if that's a requirement, the public service director could probably do so and then still run it through council for like final authority just to meet the
For the
with the
ordinance.
letter of the law or whatever. And then we can still run it through, in plenty of time to meet that requirement. I guess that would be my only question is because we're so far past the Ohio ordinance
Sure.
like stipulations, like should we do something? Should the public service director act and should we follow it up?
I will submit that question to the law director and make sure that we're, leaning on her expertise and the next steps. Thank you for that. So I would just move to keep redistricting wards open under committee issues in order to proceed with the next steps to develop and bring forward a proposed revised map for council to adapt by ordinance before the next municipal ward election cycle, whether that be through the public service director through, and I noticed in the last time it was redistricted in 2002, they had formed an ad hoc committee, so perhaps that's the direction we'll go, but I'll follow up with council president, the law director, and report back at our next committee meeting.
I just did some quick math for context, just for the public, I guess, is
Yes.
really what probably needs to happen is about 250 people should move from District 1
1
to
to
District 3, and
3.
about 100 people from District 2 to District 4. It's not a huge shift, but, it should be equal, so.
And if
but
you,
it's not like, some district is severely misrepresented. Like the 10% calculation is a little unique or strange a little bit to me of how they get to the 19% that we're off. No individual district exceeds the 10% threshold, but they do it by the difference between the largest and the smallest versus the average. That gets to 19%, but there's not we're outside of the guidelines. We should absolutely do it. But we're talking about a couple hundred people that just need to shift ward. It's not like some ward is severely misrepresented.
I would agree with that. And I had a thought too, like, since it's not until our next ward election, that puts it pretty close to the next census, like
Mhm.
maybe even waiting until then, but I don't think it's gonna be too difficult to redistrict the boundaries. If you, like, the Dave's redistricting app is a really helpful tool. Like, if you look closely at it, like, I think that there's some pretty natural boundary lines with the
Mhm.
streets that's going to be easy enough to move around for those couple hundred of people that will be voting elsewhere when that occurs. So thank you for that feedback. We will discuss this more in our next council meeting since we're keeping it open under our issues. If there's not any further discussions, we'll move to the public portion of our meeting.
Deb Tyson. I just want to know if anybody's checked on the alley issues.
So I did look up our ordinances and I mean, what you would expect, like there's no parking in the alley. So it's just
So I did the right,
you
I
did
did the right
thing,
call
calling the police
on that.
and having them come out. Absolutely.
Okay, that's a, so,
And I could forward that that language to you. I'm sorry that I didn't do it previously.
okay, that's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, I think everybody's doing a great job.
Thank you, Deb. Is there anybody else from the public that wishes to speak?
This is my first time, so I'm a little nervous. Tamara Drake, 2037 McCutcheonville Road. And I just wanted to bring up the point of the semis on county lines that are no longer allowed to ride on the outside lane. All the signs are down, so the semis are kind of like blocking all the cars behind them, and it's kind of causing a havoc. I didn't know that. I know when Eric was the mayor, it was brought up about where did the signs go? All trucks stay at the right. And he had brought up the point that it was not the city, that it was ODOT.
Right.
So is there any way that we can find out who did that, who took the signs down? Can we put them back so that the trucks stay in the right outer lane? Just a thought. I just wanted to mention that because
We'll make sure to look into it and report back at our next meeting.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? Seeing none, I'll move on to miscellaneous portion. Do either of you have any
I do.
miscellaneous?
I do not.
I just had one, and the event permit update. The committee previously recommended distinguishing one-time events from extended duration events. such as seasonal alley closures. And the city has implemented this recommendation by adding an extended duration permit option to the online event permit application. You might want to check it out and see what they did there. I appreciate the city's response to this recommendation and encourage everyone to check out the updated application. And then our next committee meeting will be on Tuesday, September 15th at 5:15 p.m. here in council chambers. I will move to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilperson Grimes, seconded by Councilperson Baker. Roll call, Councilperson Baker,
Yes.
Councilperson Grimes,
Yes.
Councilperson Mendoza, yes. The Law and Ordinance Committee meeting has adjourned at 5:25 p.m.